Hey, hi everyone. So in this video, we will be talking about TCS NQT 2026 a detailed cutoff analysis. So if you have already given your exam or if you will be giving your exam in future, what numbers should be in your mind that if I will score this much number, I can clear the test. Okay. So we will discuss about that in detail in this video. Okay. So let's start. First of all, I will be clarifying you everything. So don't worry about it. We will be discussing about the cutoff in detail. Uh, for that, I am also taking the data from my live NQT mock test because see, we have conducted this mock test and many students actually performed good in this mock test. Okay, so I will be taking the data from this itself. Okay, and if you have your exam in future, you can purchase our TCS NQT mock test series in which there will be a lot of live tests will be there in which you can see your rankings. So when you will participate in the exam, you can see your rankings. After seeing your rankings, you can decide like what score you are performing. Okay, what score you are getting, because based on that you can get an idea that if you will clear the TCS NQT or not. Okay, because see, whatever the cutoff will be in our live test you will be getting, mainly the same cutoff will be there for TCS NQT. Okay, almost same cutoff will be there. So you will be getting an idea if you can clear the TCS NQT exam or not. Okay, so you can purchase the mock test series. You can practice the live test very sincerely. You can see your rankings, what rank you are getting in the live test, and you can participate in the test. The links of the mock test series will be in the description. Okay, so let's start with the data. Okay, so I am picking the data from here. Okay, so this is the data of the live test, if you guys can see here. Okay, so this is the live test series data. So there are around 500 students who have given the live test. Okay, now if you will seeing the marks of the students, okay, marks I have written here. Okay, so if you will see, the topper scored around 52 marks from 65 marks. Okay, based on this data, we will be actually discussing about the cutoff. Also, I will be giving my thoughts what could be the cutoff. Okay, so I am taking one example data because it's a real time data. This is the real time data from the students. So I hope you can get an idea what kind of marks, what kind of cutoff you can secure in TCS NQT exam to secure your place in TCS. Okay, now if you will look in this data, there are total 500 students, right? There are total 500 students. Okay, I'm taking one example that suppose if you are participating in TCS NQT, okay, suppose there are total 500 students who are participating in TCS, but this time the number is very high. It should be around, I think, 7 to 8 lakhs candidates who will be participating in TCS NQT. For me, see, generally TCS shortlist around 50% candidates for the interviews. Okay, so suppose 8 lakh candidates are participating in the interviews, there will be around 4 lakh candidates who will be appearing for the interview. Okay, so this is the general data, but this year the competition will be huge because the number is very high. So I'm assuming maybe the top 40% students. Okay, the top 40% students will be getting participated in the interviews. Okay, so around, this is my assumption, that maybe the top 40% students will be participating in the interviews. Okay, so based on this, let's see our data. Okay, so what is the sample data saying? Okay, so if you will start from here, okay, there are around 500 students. So I am assuming the top 40 students should be in the ranking of around 200. Okay, so let's check with the 200 like what cutoff is going in our data set. Okay, so I will go on 200 rank. Okay, okay, so this student Avinash Saroj, okay, this student actually secured the 200 rank. Okay, let's see his score. So he secured 28 marks in total, 28 only. Okay, now let's see his score. Okay, let's see his score. Okay, so he secured 6 marks in numerical, he secured 11 marks in reasoning, and he secured around 11 marks in verbal. Okay, but there will be some separate cutoffs also, because see, if you will see here, if you will compare the data with the above student, he secured 13 marks in verbal but only 8 marks in reasoning. So maybe he will be not clearing that. Okay, because there will be a minimum cutoff in the reasoning as well. Okay, that's why what we see in the actual score, that will be a total score, but the cutoff will drop down from that. I will explaining that. Okay, so 11, 11 and 6. Okay, this is the marks of the student who secured the 200th rank. Okay, 11 in verbal, 11 in reasoning, and 6 in numeric. Okay, Now see, in the actual exam also you will be getting almost similar score, almost similar cutoff for the students. Okay, but now see, there are total 2 to 3 things which we need to keep in mind. Okay, what is the level of the exam? Based on the level, there will be the cutoff. Okay, and what will be the qualifying cutoff, so that all students can qualify from the top 200. Okay, it is not like someone is scoring 17 marks in verbal but only 3 marks in numeric, he cannot qualify. Okay, so that thing also we need to keep in mind, because there should be one average mark the student should be securing. Okay, so now let's talk about the average marks also, okay, of our top 200 students. So based on that we will be knowing that what can be the cutoff. Okay, so this is our 200th student. Okay, let's see the average marks of the top 200 students. Okay, like what average marks they are securing. Okay, so this is number, but we this is not in the number, so we cannot compute the direct average marks, but I will be telling you from the data. Okay, so see, basically based on this data which I have seen from my live report, actually what was the cutoff for the top 200 students. Okay, so it was around 10 marks. Okay, around 10 marks for reasoning. Okay, around 10 marks for verbal, and around 6 marks for numeric. Okay, now this was my test. Okay, so I hope you got the idea from my test, but in the actual exam now we will be understanding what will be the cutoff. Okay, so now based on the this data, like suppose 200 students are getting selected, we are talking about this, but in the exam the students will be little more serious. Okay, so based on your shift I will be talking about the cutoffs. Okay, so see, if you have participated in the cutoff, I hope you have already got the idea what in the real time students are securing. So see, taking the example of foundation section, this foundation section, there will be around two cutoffs. Okay, there will be around two cutoffs. One, that this should be one overall score that the student must qualify. Okay, there should be one overall score which the student must qualify. There will be some separate score, okay, which the student should qualify. Okay, how this scores get compute, I will just explain you. Suppose the overall cutoff is 30 marks. Okay, the overall cutoff is 30 marks. Suppose let's take an example that at least minimum this should be the foundation question marks of the students. Okay, suppose this is the cutoff. Okay, I will give you the actual idea also, but now what will be the separate cutoff? The separate cutoff, suppose they are saying, but in this cutoff should they pass? Okay, they should pass. Apart from this, around 6 marks in numeric. Okay, around 11 marks in reasoning, around 10-11 marks in verbal. Okay, suppose this is the separate score, this should also they pass. Okay, now based on the overall score and this score they will be selecting the candidates. Okay, that at least this score they should pass, and at least this score should they pass. Okay, now based on the on campus data and previous year data, I will be giving you the exact cutoff what actually went for TCS. Okay, so for last year on campus sorry, off campus 2025, I will be talking about the cutoff. Then this year on campus 2026, I will be talking about the cutoff. So you will get an idea. So for last year off campus 2025, their numeric section was not so hard. The cutoff for numeric was around 9 to 10 marks. For last year off campus, I am talking about. Okay, this was for numeric. Okay, for last year, the reasoning cutoff was around 12 marks. Reasoning was super easy last year. The cutoff for the verbal ability was around 11 to 12 marks, and the verbal ability was also easy last year. Okay, coding cutoff I will be talking about. Then we will talk about the on campus 2026 this year. The numeric ability was same which you are getting this year in the off campus 2026, and the cutoff was around 5 to 6 marks only for numeric ability. The reasoning ability cutoff, it was around medium, and the reasoning ability cutoff was around 9 to 10 marks. The English was little hard this year and the cutoff was around 10 marks. This was the exact around rounding of cutoff which was for on campus, okay, but now this is off campus. The level of the exam is exactly same as the on campus 2026, so the little bit of cutoff will increase, okay. So for this year, even one number, because based on one number only na, there will be a lot of candidates who will be on that one number, okay. So first of all, I am talking about the foundation section cutoff, okay. Now see, for foundation section, the cutoff which I am assuming this year for numeric will be around 6 to 7 marks for off campus, because there are a lot of candidates and the competition will be like, there will be a lot of competition. For reasoning, it will be around same and it should be around 10 to 11 marks, okay. And for numeric, for verbal ability, the cutoff will be around again between 10 to 12 marks. Okay, so this will be my prediction for this year, and I think the prediction will be going to right, because I think this should be the exact cutoff this year, and the overall cutoff will be around again 30 to 32 marks. Okay, so around 30 to 32 marks will be the overall cutoff. Okay, so minimum you can consider as overall 29 to 30 questions should be right in overall. Okay, so how I am talking about this overall cutoff, please try to understand. Suppose you got 6 marks in numeric. Okay, suppose you got 11 marks in reasoning, and suppose you got 11 marks in verbal. Okay, now you are on the boundaries, like 6, 11 and 11 is the boundary cutoff, right? But if you will compute them together, it makes 28, so you are not qualifying the overall cutoff, so you will get failed. So what is overall cutoff? Suppose you are qualifying by the separate section marks, but suppose in the verbal your marks is 13, so you will get 30 marks. Okay, so if you will get 30 marks, you will be also qualifying the overall cutoff, you will be also qualifying the sectional cutoff, and your exam will be clear. So this is my prediction. The overall cutoff should be around 30 marks, like it can be 29 also, but it will be not less than 28 for sure. Okay, it will be not less than 28. The overall cutoff should be around 30 marks. The separate cutoff already I have talked about. Okay, now coming to the coding question part, again a very important thing which we need to consider, because your digital and prime role will be getting decided from this only. Okay, so see, for digital, first of all, I just wanted to talk about this year the coding compiler issue was there only for one shift, okay, I would say. Otherwise the coding compiler was working, and neither of the shifts I got the response from the students. That's uh, all students are not saying that, sir, we have not passed any test cases. So for coding cutoff for this year, definitely the coding cutoff will increase. And for digital, I would suggest, if you are doing one coding question, or I would say, see, there will be total 10 private test cases. Okay, 10 private test cases. So let's talk about the private test cases. Based on that, we will be discussing. Okay, so there will be 10 private cases, test cases. Five will be for first question, five will be for second question. For digital, I would say, if you are doing like five test cases, private, combining first and second coding question, I think digital is secure. Okay, digital is secure. And this is the condition when both the coding questions are working in the TCS and both the coding questions are not hard. Suppose in one shift candidates got MST question. For that shift, there will be normalization. Okay, I will be talking about that also. Okay, and for prime, I think 7 plus private test cases are enough to get prime. Plus your foundation score should be very, very good. Okay, and your advanced aptitude score should be good. Okay, but now coming to the normalization part, suppose in your shift the performance of mostly for all of the students are bad in coding, okay, then the cutoffs went down and normalization happens. Okay, so for an example, if I want to take the example of the shift where MST coding question got asked, or that gym subscription question got asked, in which many most of the candidates did not performed well. Okay, so for these shifts the cutoff will drop down. Okay, and the digital cutoff can be around like 3 to 4 test cases, and prime would be if you passed like 5 test cases, like all test cases in one question, okay, then even if you are passing one private test case in the second question in which students are not passing any test case, okay, there is a possibility you might get prime, okay. Especially for these two shifts, I would be saying the cutoff will be going down, okay. So for these shifts I would suggest, like, if you have done 4 test cases combining both the coding questions, I think it should be good for digital. If you have done 6 or 6 plus test cases, okay, it should be good for prime, okay. So this will be my prediction for these two shifts. Apart from this, the cutoff I have already mentioned, like 5 for digital, 7 plus for prime, and foundation cutoff I already explained to you with the real time data also. I hope the cutoff is clear for all of you. Thank you so much for watching.